So talk to us about our perception or attitudes when things are happening and we think things are stressful. How does that manifest in how we respond further to actual stressful things like a pageant or a bear coming to engulf us?
Yeah, so a lot of the models I work off of, they're called biopsychosocial models. I mean, it's a really long word, but you unpack that word. You have biological processes, psychological processes, and social situational processes. These things all interact together to produce a stress response in a given situation. And so in that model, the idea is that we first encounter a stressor. So something's presenting demands, we have to engage with it. And so once you engage, that's going to get the sympathetic nervous system online. We can choose not to engage. If you're a student, you can choose not to answer your questions on your test and just walk out of the room. I mean, that's not going to be very helpful for your long-term goal pursuit, but you could do that.
And that might lead to more stress later on.
Yeah, ultimately, that's probably going to not be the most functional, adaptive thing to do. But when we engage with something, we're sort of like, okay, I'm engaging with the situation. And from there, we have these cognitive appraisal processes. In appraisals, these are sort of perceptions we have. And the perceptions are about perceptions of demands. So what am I presented with relative to my resources? What do I have to address those demands? So resources can be things like social coping resources. Do I have teammates to rely on? Do I have other people helping me? They can be my skills, my learned ability, anything like that. Familiarity with the situation is a resource. And demands are like the actual stressor that's presented with us. It could be like, am I trying to impress these people in a competition? Am I trying to beat this player in this tournament? Am I trying to do well in this test? Like the actual exam questions on a test would be the demands. And it said, did I study enough? Do I know this material? That's the resources I have. And it's really about a ratio of demands to resources. If we think we have sufficient resources to address these demands, it doesn't matter if the demands are high. So it doesn't matter if the stressful situation is very demanding. If we think we can handle it, our body's going to respond with a challenge response. Alternatively, if we think that we can't handle it, our body's going to engage in all these responses to try to mitigate expected defeat and damage. And so the response is coming from this ratio of resources to demands. Our brain's doing this really under the surface, really automatically.
Is there another way that we could learn or teach kids going through school, teach undergraduates, teach graduates, this whole stress axis piece that you're talking about, that along with, of course, learning the content, if you master the pathophysiology, if you will, of stress, you might actually be acing exams just in general. Plus, if you know the content, you might be even better. Is there something there?
Yeah, this is something we can do. So a lot of research I do is looking at ways of developing stress regulation tools. And a lot of what we do aim at is at academic stressors. What we do is to try to teach people what are their ideas about stress. Like we have this process about stress of being stressed.
Yes, yes.
And we see this pop up all the time. People worried about if I get into this high agitated state, that means that I'm nervous, I'm a failure, I'm not going to do well. Interpreting that response as negative, that can produce some of these negative downstream responses in the stress systems. And so the idea is sort of getting people away from equating stress with distress. That's a big challenge. No one says I'm so stressed when they're excited. People say I'm so stressed when they're overwhelmed. Stressors are demands. It could be like a real, like a sort of negative stressor, but it can be positive as well. A lot of what we're focusing on academically is that to sort of achieve and like break boundaries and help us grow and learn and get these really major goals, we kind of need to engage with stressors. We need to do things that are hard. And so teach people about the stress response and how it can be helpful to facilitating the goals they want to achieve. And so what we've pinned this as called stress optimization. Challenge is generally pretty good for performance.
To your point, how do we shift that threat to challenge? How can we kind of do mindful mental exercises to get there?
What we try to do is teach people that the actual response your body's having is a resource. This is helping you achieve your goals. This is not something to sort of run from and be scared from. We're sort of harnessing stress to help people innovate and thrive. And so this is a different approach than coping. Like coping implies just getting by. Like I'm gonna deal with the stress, I'm gonna be over soon, and I'll cope with it. What we're talking about is optimizing. So sort of leaning into it and sort of using that stress as a tool. What we need to do is sort of get people to engage with stressors in positive ways, but then give them tools to maintain that challenge response through adversity or through difficulties. We need to push forward with that and sort of get beyond our comfort zones. No one ever innovated something by staying within their comfort zone.